Sigiriya is an ancient rock fortress located in the northern Matale district near the town of Dambulla in the central province Sri Lanka. The name refers to a site of historical and archaeological significance that is dominated by a massive column of rock nearly 200 meters, 660 feet, high. According to the ancient Sri Lankan chronicle the Kilavamsa, this site was selected by King Kashyapa, 477 to 495 AD, for his new capital. He built his palace on the top of this rock and decorated its sides with colorful frescoes. On a small plateau about halfway up the side of this rock he built a gateway in the form of an enormous lion. The name of this place is derived from this structure Sinhagiri, the lion rock, an etymology similar to Sinhapura, the Sanskrit name of Singapore, the Lion City. The capital and the royal palace were abandoned after the king's death. It was used as a Buddhist monastery until the 14th century. Sigiriya today is a UNESCO-listed World Heritage Site. It is one of the best preserved examples of ancient urban planning. In 1831 Major Jonathan Forbes of the 78th Highlanders of the British Army, while returning on horseback from a trip to Polonnaruwa, encountered the bush-covered summit of Sigiriya. Sigiriya came to the attention of antiquarians and, later, archaeologists. Archaeological work at Sigiriya began on a small scale in the 1890s. H.C.P. Bell was the first archaeologist to conduct extensive research on Sigiriya. The Cultural Triangle Project, launched by the government of Sri Lanka, focused its attention on Sigiriya in 1982. Archaeological work began on the entire city for the first time under this project. There was a sculpted lion's head above the legs and paws flanking the entrance, but the head collapsed years ago. Sigiriya consists of an ancient citadel built by King Kashyapa during the 5th century. The Sigiriya site contains the ruins of an upper palace located on the flat top of the rock, a mid-level terrace that includes the Lion Gate and the mirror wall with its frescoes. The lower palaces clings to the slopes below the rocks. The moats, walls, and gardens of the palace extended for a few hundred meters from the base of the rock. The site was both a palace and a fortress. The upper palace on the top of the rock includes cisterns cut into the rock. Sigiriya is considered to be one of the most important urban planning sites of the first millennium, and the site plan is considered very elaborate and imaginative. The plan combined concepts of symmetry and asymmetry to intentionally interlock the man-made geometrical and natural forms of the surroundings. On the west side of the rock lies a park for the royals, laid out on a symmetrical plan. The park contains water-retaining structures, including sophisticated surface/subsurface hydraulic systems, some of which are working today. The south contains a man-made reservoir. These were extensively used from the previous capital of the dry zone of Sri Lanka. 5 gates were placed at entrances. The more elaborate western gate is thought to have been reserved for the royals. Frescoes. John Still in 1907 wrote, "The whole face of the hill appears to have been a gigantic picture gallery, the largest picture in the world perhaps. The paintings would have covered most of the western face of the rock, an area 140 meters long and 40 meters high. There are references in the graffiti to 500 ladies in these paintings. However, most have been lost forever. More frescoes, different from those on the rock face, can be seen elsewhere, for example on the ceiling of the location called the Cobra Hood Cave. Although the frescoes are classified as in the Anuradhapura period, the painting style is considered unique, the line and style of application of the paintings differing from Anuradhapura paintings. The lines are painted in a form which enhances the sense of volume of the figures. The paint has been applied in sweeping strokes, using more pressure on one side, giving the effect of a deeper color tone towards the edge. Other paintings of the Anuradhapura period contain similar approaches to painting, but do not have the sketchy lines of the Sigiriya style, having a distinct artist's boundary line. The true identity of the ladies in these paintings still have not been confirmed. There are various ideas about their identity. Some believe that they are the ladies of the kings, while others think that they are women taking part in religious observances. These pictures have a close resemblance to paintings seen in the Ajanta caves in India. Mirror wall. Originally this wall was so highly polished that the king could see himself whilst he walked alongside it. Made of brick masonry and covered in highly polished white plaster, the wall is now partially covered with verses scribbled by visitors, some of them dating from as early as the 8th century. Most, however, date from the 9th and 10th century. People of all walks of life, from poets to provincial governors to housewives, wrote on the wall. Even bhikkhus were not exempt, they wrote poetry on varying subjects such as love, irony, and experiences of all sorts. This is the only evidence of poetry found in the Anuradhapura period. Gardens. The gardens of the Sigiriya city are one of the most important aspects of the site, as they are among the oldest landscaped gardens in the world. The gardens are divided into 3 distinct but linked forms: water gardens, cave and boulder gardens, and terraced gardens. Water gardens. The water gardens can be seen in the central section of the western precinct. 3 principal gardens are found here. The first garden consists of a plot surrounded by water. It is connected to the main precinct using 4 causeways, with gateways placed at the head of each causeway. This garden is built according to an ancient garden form known as charbagh, and is one of the oldest surviving models of this form. Boulder gardens. The boulder gardens consist of several large boulders linked by winding pathways. The gardens extend from the northern slopes to the southern slopes of the hills at the foot of Sigiriya Rock. Most of these boulders had a building or pavilion upon them. There are cuttings that were used as footings for brick walls and beams. They were used to be pushed off from the top to attack enemies when they approached. Terraced gardens. The terraced gardens are formed from the natural hill at the base of the Sigiriya Rock. A series of terraces rises from the pathways of the boulder garden to the staircases on the rock. These have been created by the construction of brick walls, and are located in a roughly concentric plan around the rock. The path through the terraced gardens is formed by a limestone staircase. From this staircase, there is a covered path on the side of the rock, leading to the uppermost terrace where the lion staircase is situated.